The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your Lumble, your lovable, squeezably soft host, the koala bear of Wall Street. Yes, it's one big fuzzy teddy bear. Here for the hour, we meet each day that the market's open between 2 and 3. And it's going to be a short week for me because market's not open on Thursday afternoon, so I'm out of here on Wednesday. So make sure if you want all this, that you tune in Wednesday, because you'll be going through some withdrawal on Thursday. Anyway, we've got a market not moving too far, up 2 points on the S&P cash, 1.54 billion shares on the New York Stock Exchange consolidated tape. That is everything trading on the ECNs and the Amex and the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Pretty decent sample size, which is light, and we were expecting kind of a light weekend. Had a lot of news today. Didn't seem to move the markets or phase it whatsoever. Maybe we do have the Great Wall of China here that's going to repel barbarians forever. But not a lot of juice in this market. Also, when we look at Trim Tabs data for this month, when I looked at it a couple of days ago, I suggested that basically there weren't going to be any net inflows or outflows, so the market should remain rather stable. Of course, this is the end of the month today, and for the most part, it looks like a great deal of effort from the street is to at least get this thing to go out on a high note for those quarterly paychecks. And, of course, those wonderful, nice quarterly statements going out to everybody. So there is almost always a little bit of push to make sure that the market stays up into a day like this. But I digress. And we're going to get right into the news today and try. There is a great deal of it, so we'll go through it, and then we'll go through winners and losers before the end of the show. You can always email me at path@tfnn.com. You can always call us at 877-927-6648 and or put a message in the den, type a message in the den, and we'll try to get to you just as soon as possible. Of course, we'd like to start off with a little bit of histoire at the beginning of every show. And in 1932, the total market value cap of all stocks listed on the New York Stock Exchange scrapes bottom at $15.6 billion, down from $89.7 billion on September 1st of 1929. Give you an idea how much money went to money heaven. Of course, I think the indexes, the Dow was down later than that. I'll have to go back and look at the charts. But as physically as the total amount of money lost this day in 1932 marked the bottom of the cap from 1922, I think. The New York Stock Exchange completed its first nationwide survey of stock ownership in 1952, amazingly finding 6.5 million Americans, or a whopping 4% of the total population of the U.S., owned any common stock whatsoever. We've kind of gone a long way from there. And 106 years ago is the anniversary of the explosion at Tunguska, Siberia. If you don't know anything about this or never heard about it, this was a asteroid, a big snowball. No one really knows for sure what it was. Never really found any parts. So they're assuming it was a giant methane and water snowball. Had the blast of 15 megatons of TNT, roughly 1,000 times that of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan, and 400 square miles of trees were knocked down. They expect that it blew up somewhere around 10 to 15 miles over the surface of the earth. And, when we think about just how powerful we are, we think we can just blow up the planet and destroy it. Boy, I tell you what, compared to things like this, we've got some pretty lady fingers. I wouldn't even call them M80s. We got lady fingers out here, and should remind us and maybe humble us sometimes when we think we're this powerful. 1,000 times that of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. And people still put on the aluminum foil hats for this one. But very interesting, especially all the work that's been done to try to figure out what happened there. And, what else do we have going on here? Oh, I'm going to get back to this in a minute. I almost forgot something. So I'll have to figure this out. Move it on over here. Almost didn't have everything set up, so I'll have to see if we have... that's what we have. Yes, I've got to set it up yet again. Maybe I'll get it right this time. Why is everything so tough out here? Nothing's as easy as it should be, should it?
Bubble.
There we go.
Bubble.
Yeah, I got it right that time. Anyway, probably the most interesting thing I've seen in the news this morning, and should give everybody a reason for pause, is the Bank for International Settlements in Basel, Switzerland, warned Sunday that the dangerous new asset bubbles were forming even before the global economy is finished recovering from the last round of financial access. And, of course, we've been talking about the bubble probably for 6 months now. Pretty easy to see that it's there. A lot of people will look the other way because it makes them rich to do so. But I have a feeling that we certainly have an equity bubble, and that's what the Bank for International Settlements in Basel, who basically backstops almost all the larger markets in the world and all the large transaction between banks, kind of the reinsurer to the reinsurers is worrying about, and they're starting to drop coverage as a percentage of what's out there. So we may have at least one sane person or persons in the world that see the gathering gloom of a market of something like we saw Friday, which is, of course, another huge push in things like GoPro, a fine company, probably worth at IPO prices about $1.2 billion, maybe $1.5 billion, came out at least double that at $3.3 billion. And I saw earlier this morning was at a cap of $4.3 billion. And why all this gambling is good and fun if you're making some money off of it. Almost always there is a piper to be paid, and the Bank of International Settlements is at least coming out and talking about it today. Of course, down in Florida, we're always very careful to watch for hurricanes developing. We do have one developing now. We are into the summer, and it is time to start watching these. The hurricane season, of course, runs between now and about the 1st of November. Andy Heck has been talking a lot on his commodity shows about the potential for energy prices to surge based on something like a hurricane. We've been at about a 13-year, well, actually not a 13-year, 7-year drought on hurricanes. So I would not be surprised to see one this year, although conditions are probably a little bit better than a lot of people think as far as water temperatures so far in the summer. Now, that can change. It's not going to change overnight, but we could get into August and see those kind of heat in the Gulf really coming. But so far, fairly mild so far. And this one would be more likely to go up the East Coast and maybe ruin your 4th of July weekend and not ours down here in Florida. But it is now time to start watching for all these hurricanes and the disruptions they will cause, not only in the commodity markets place, but also in trading, if we have another hit up in New York, and or insurance. A lot of plays based on the disruption and changing of cash based on when hurricanes come out the door. The Supreme Court ruled. The last two decisions came out today. And before I get into them, there was one last week that I didn't really get into. But basically, they've invalidated patents on software. And if you're expecting your company to, maybe that you've invested in, to protect themselves with patents, you should know that basically they have invalidated all basically abstract ideas. And what I'm talking about is if it was available before computers came and anybody saw them, or before the program was written to do maybe that idea, they basically have thrown all those away. If it's a way of doing business, activities like auctions, playing cards, and concepts, basically probably the best description would be one of the first programs that a lot of people yelled about because the people did not patent it was a spreadsheet. Well, in this example, since spreadsheets were done on chalkboards at MBA colleges, it would have been not patentable according to the Supreme Court. So a lot clearer now that if you can do something and it's been done before and it wasn't done with a computer, just because you're doing it with a computer doesn't give you a patent on it. And if all you have to do is get a programmer to write code to implement them in a program, there's not much protection out there. So I have a feeling that this should speed along things at least somewhat in the whole patent troll cases out here. Of course, we had two other cases out today. One that a lot of people are trying to paint a little different than what it is. But probably the most important one in business today was the case that was basically a union case, whether they could collect dues for people that were not part of the union. And this involved people that were nurses that were at people's residence. And they said since they negotiated for them and set the price, and of course Chicago and Illinois being a big union town, they passed a law saying that, well, since there's a union out here and they're really pushing up wages for you, that you have to pay them that cash. And of course that was struck down today. So there was 26 other states that had basically right to work laws that may have been affected for that, and that they will not be. Probably one of the reasons why not a lot of change in the stock market today when these came out. The other one was a challenge to whether the Obamacare regulations could actually get somebody to pay for something that they thought morally unwise. And kind of a lot of disinformation about that this morning. We'll talk about it when we come back. And a lot of news coming out. We'll be back in just a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different future contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a free 2-week trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Andy Heck's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, and when we come back, we've got Dudley from Orlando. How you doing today, Dudley?
Fine, David, and a good afternoon to you. David, I'm been hearing a lot about Yahoo and this IPO coming out of China and so forth. What's your readout on Yahoo right now?
Well, it should be printing off about $10 higher, and the kind of quite a conundrum out here that if Alibaba is really going to come out at $150 billion, it prices Yahoo at $2 right now at $35. $2 of that would be Yahoo. $33 would be Alibaba. And to tell you the truth, maybe there's something in the book somewhere I don't see, but boy, the street is basically saying Yahoo's worth nothing, or the Alibaba IPO isn't what everybody's saying it's going to be. So there's some kind of disconnect back in here that most of the people that I talk about or listen to that really know what's going on and read financial statements say that Yahoo should be worth about $10 a share. And if you take that off, or this thing should be printing $45 if Alibaba is really worth $35 worth of Yahoo stock. Now, part of that may be they've talked about not selling it all at the beginning, but my understanding is that you can't have an outside owner in a company, and what hasn't come out yet is whether or not Yahoo's going to have to dump all their shares at the IPO and whether they're going to get a decent price for it or not. So I think that there's a lot of stuff unknown that's in the stock and telling us that there's something that isn't quite right. Maybe they're going to have to dump those shares at a much lower price. and be forced out because of the rules of owning a Chinese company, and or at least public company. So there's something really weird going on here. Like I said, either this company is worth $2 or Alibaba's not worth the $150 billion they're talking about when it comes out the door. So are you looking more about the chart out here, or maybe a question about it?
Well, no, I was had an order in earlier, and matter of fact, I still have it in. And I was just curious. I was going to take a position. I had an idea that doggone Yahoo could run on up, like 35, 45 bucks.
My guess is it probably is going to run up a little bit into the IPO. It's unclear now, but if I was a betting man, I'd say the last week of August or the first 10 days of September is when that IPO is going to come out. So if I was going to play this for the ramp, you know, the whole thing is, when do they actually state that they're going to come out? My guess is going to be that you're probably going to hear in the first week of August the date that they're going to try to kick this thing out the door. And most likely, I think that they would wait until August is over and into when everybody comes back to try to push this pig out, because it's going to be about $40 billion out of the market in one day. That's what's going to have to be raised and sold to buy this stock, and they're going to sell other things to do it. And you can't do that all in one day. So everybody's going to have and figure out when they suck all that oxygen out of the market to get the 30 or 40 billion of the 150 billion cap. That means that there's going to be yet another, $110 billion out of stock that has not hit the market yet, too. So, you know, that's the guess. We don't know for sure, but at least that's what everybody's talking about on the street. So the question is, when this comes out, will it probably ramp? It's one way of buying it. Now, most of the people that are playing this that have big wallets and fat wallets have sold Yahoo and have bought Alibaba pre-IPO shares in what's called the second market. So they don't want anything to do with Yahoo, which is also a little bit disconcerting out here. So I don't know what's going on in this thing, but I would be very aware that there may be some more roaches running around, since we saw one in this thing.
Right.
If people if big guys that have lots of cash are selling Yahoo to buy it in second market, they don't want any of the exposure of Yahoo. So I don't know how much the income of Alibaba has been able to mask maybe the real problems in Yahoo, but maybe that's the issue right there.
Yeah. Well,
okay, so be wary, I would say. If you're going to play this for the run, I think probably first week in August.
Very good, David. Thanks for the insight.
You bet.
Appreciate that.
We'll be back in just a minute.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, anyway, we're talking about the Supreme Court. And interestingly enough, we've got a lot of no movement in here. Oh, I was going to talk about people kind of propagandizing what's going on here. Basically this whole Supreme Court decision with unions and the ability to collect union dues. Everybody ran out and said, it's very narrow, it's very narrow. But I did see one of the constitutional scholars that's commonly on most of these cable stations over lunch talking a little bit about it. And he had read a good portion off about it. And it does look like at least Ruth Ginsburg, dissenting opinion, says that this is very broad. So we'll have to see what happens over time. But at least the dissenters think this could be a lot broader than what everybody in the news is saying it is. Arrow, the video streaming company that would stream for about $8 all your local television stations, went dark at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. The Supreme Court ruling for them basically put them out of business, and they said they had no plan B, and it looks like they were telling the truth. We talked about the black phone on the Tom O'Brien show in our Tech Insider probably about 6 weeks ago. It has gone on sale today. It is an Android smartphone designed for security against anybody that would want to listen to you, government or not. They are based in Switzerland, which has a constitution that really guarantees your privacy in its constitution and doesn't just pay a homage to it, so that they will not be forced into giving up, I guess, any information. So they've put this together. But first phone, it's kind of an expensive phone. But if you're in business, probably would be a good idea to start buying something like this. You can buy the phones and use them here in the United States. They will work on U.S. carriers. Very interesting to see, though, this company come about. It was started by a gentleman, Phil Zimmerman, and I remember him very much at the very beginning of the Electronic Frontiers Foundation, mostly because I was throwing money at it and trying to help them when they started. Mostly got started because of Phil Zimmerman, the guy that basically started this company. Silent Circle is the company, by the way. He had a thing called PGP, which is pretty good protection, what it stood for. The government hounded him to the ends of the earth on trumped-up charges that 5 years later were never brought for writing a program that would encrypt data, basically saying that he violated the arms export agreement, a bunch of other BS. So they've chased him around the world, and I have a feeling that the chicken has come home to roost, because he's more than willing to sell these to all comers, and probably a bigger headache than when basically the cows were already out of the barn when he released PGP. And now they probably made an enemy, and he's been able to go to a country that will support true privacy. And I don't think that there's anything anybody can do other than pressure the Swiss government to cough everything up, and that may be a lot harder, especially with the bank issue that the U.S. government lorded over them. I don't know if this would be any easier. Facebook, of course, is having all kinds of problems today. They're facing their Tuskegee mistake, I think. If you're not familiar with Tuskegee, that's where they gave venereal diseases to a bunch of enlisted men down in Tuskegee, Mississippi. That is the Army. And wanted to just see what would happen. Well, it was just to find out what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, and we're not going to tell them about it. And if they come in and ask about it, we're not going to tell them that they've got anything or give them anything for it. What's to see what happens? So basically, they were using them as guinea pigs. Of course, Facebook is fessing up to doing the exact same thing with its subscribers. They basically were changing the news feeds so that people were only getting good or bad news feeds. If they got good news feeds, they'd give them better news feeds, basically getting rid of anything that was negative. If they had bad news feeds, they'd give them only the worst and worse stories and or news feeds. And the whole thing was to point out that we can make people happier or we can make people sadder. But a lot of people looking at Facebook, much less the Tuskegee people, and thinking, is this Facebook giving us an STD? And unfortunately, the terms of use basically say they can do anything they want to you, not physically, but mentally, and test different things. So Facebook, probably a lot of people brushing this off on a lighter week, but I think you have to really watch what you're doing when you get into social networking, what they're going to do with the data that they use, and what they're going to do to you as a guinea pig. Let's see, I just not gonna have. Yeah, entrainment technologies. Very good, Z. Okay, this week in IPO, we've got 7 IPOs planned for this week. Of course, this is a short week. Most are biotech startups, and these companies are going to be targeting solid tumors, pancreatic cancer, hepatitis, disease progression testing, therapeutic microRNA, and cancer cures for central nervous system diseases. And there's even an apple orchard going public this week, which might tell you something about how nervous I am, and a small bank chain in the swamps of Louisiana. Most of these biotech startups will not be probably even viable for 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years down the line. So kind of tough to see why you'd be throwing a lot of money at these right now unless you were playing the long game, and at the same time probably paying up to play the long game. I suspect you have a chance to get all these biotechs this morning that are biotechs that are coming out this week at much lower prices in the very near future. And, of course, maybe you want to invest in an apple orchard. This company can't even grow unless it buys somebody else, so maybe they're going to get cash and buy more apples. But somehow I have a feeling there's not a huge corner on the apple market that's possible. And, of course, a small bank chain in the swamps of Louisiana, you got to know that's where the cash is. Anyway, other than the one of those guys with the duck calls. Anyway, somebody called into the Tom O'Brien show, and I passed by one of these stocks. It is now being savagely driven by Kramer on CNBC. It is one of the marijuana stocks. This is truly the only company that is licensed to sell marijuana. They've got some very specific strains. And of course, at least the push from Kramer is that this will be pushed into the market to replace OxyContin. There are some uses of marijuana. Maybe they're overdone, maybe they're underdone. I can't really tell. There's not a lot of surveys out on this. But interesting company nonetheless, and probably a 4-year jump of anybody else in this business if they allow them to. But basically a nose spray for the symptoms of cancer pain and neuropathic pain, and makes people a little hungrier that normally wouldn't eat. So there's a few things out here. But if you're looking for a pot stock, this thing had a big bounce out here today. GWPF is the only real stock that has a license from the FDA and to actually push these cannabinoid prescription medicines out the door. Yeah, we got that too. MK Ultra, baby, giving people LSD, basically in the Army. So not the first time. GM came out this morning, said that they were going to settle with everybody, even if they had a pre-bankruptcy settlement. And there's probably a little bit more to this. Of course, the people that are representing injured say that there's 80 deaths. GM says there are 13 deaths. Probably the truth is somewhere between that number. But what they are saying is that if you settled with us pre-bankruptcy and or if you had a problem pre-bankruptcy and didn't do anything, then you can go together with this plan that we have right now. Now, if you decide to sue us and it was pre-bankruptcy and don't want to go with our plan, then we're just going to claim bankruptcy on you. So basically, if you can do their plan, which is at least adequate, and they have no legal obligation to allow you to do that. So at least on the outside, probably not a bad thing. Of course, people up in arms are the damage lawyers, because if they do go into this, then they really don't need a lawyer, and the lawyer's not going to get a big cut out of it. In fact, this basically cuts lawyers out, and General Motors probably happy about that. So, they're not going to be able to cash in as much as they thought they would. Hopefully they don't give bad advice and tell people to sue, because, of course, GM will just say, hey, we were bankrupt then. You're not getting spit. But, of course, if you do want to go along with our plan, maybe you're going to get $5 million. Too bad. Anyway, the price didn't really move too much on General Motors, so I thought that was rather interesting. Of course, in Bitcoin news, the California Governor Jerry Brown has signed a bill that basically effectively reverses the state law on alternative currencies. Basically, anything like Bitcoin or Dogecoin. There's a few restrictions on what actually makes a Bitcoin kind of currency. But for the most part, it rescinds all that and says, go for it. I suspect this has some something to do with basically Mark Andreessen, who runs a big fund that has been putting a lot of cash into these type of companies here lately for alternative ways of payment. Probably California bends to the will of Silicon Valley fairly quickly. One of the other companies out here making moves over the last few days that I thought of interest, you might want to be basically taking a look at, is Mankind. This company basically got a approval I think it was on Friday, for a new insulin inhaler, so you don't have to basically shoot up all the time. It's not forever. It uses a dry powder that people can breathe in to control insulin levels. It's not a full-time replacement, although they are working on another model of this, but much better as a insulin injection that you don't have to have. Everybody knows they basically have to keep looking around for other places to stick themselves with to get insulin. So another great alternative, and this company is called Mankind. We talked a little bit about it, I think, on the Tech Insider a few months ago. But MNKD, nice little pop over here as this thing did get approved. And the company says it works within 12 to 15 minutes. And maybe we'll have other things like this. Maybe e-cigarettes with that in it, and they can just kind of whiff it in. But other alternatives to sticking a needle into you, always great. So MNKD, keep an eye on that one. Microsoft's basically saying that they will have Windows 9 out in March or April of 2015, just when you thought Windows 8 was ready. They're going to continue to do a lot with Windows 8, but this will bring back the start menu that everybody pretty much misses in Windows 8, and it will be there in Windows 9. Started to see pictures floating around the internet. There will be a preview probably sometime in September for developers, and I'll get a copy, and then I'll send emails back for what I liked and what I didn't like. And Microsoft will take that into account, make their decision, and kick out Windows 9 after that. And not really knowing what's in it yet, other than they are planning yet another major release in the release cycle. If you missed it this morning, we had yet another crash in the Dubai stock market. It was down 4.4% this morning, pretty much putting it back to a lot of the levels that it saw last week in the last crash. So as we look at this, just keep it advised. Maybe tomorrow we're going to see some movement in the market. But it really looks like these construction companies in the Mideast are facing ruinous conditions in the short term. So, be it. Wanted to get back. We just got just a few seconds left, and we'll get into some charts here and some of the stocks that are moving before we get in. But it had a lot of news today for a market that hadn't been moving so well.
Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're back. We're going to look at a few companies that are moving out here. Just check the S&P, up half a point, 1.8 billion shares. So it is going to be a light volume day. We've got a little bit more news, jobs numbers on Thursday morning, which is going to leave us a very little amount of time to react before the close at noon on Thursday. Of course, Friday off for the 4th and a long weekend. So keep an eye on that. But I actually had some stocks. Let's go out here and look at winners out here real quick and see what we have. Probably the biggest winner is that pot company GWPH. They are up almost 12% today. Even a bigger one here. Why is this not? It didn't sort it correctly. Long, L-O-N-G. Wanted to look at this one up. Of course, Easy Long. Don't know much about this company, so we'll take a quick look at it. But up 20, what is it up? 20.5%, up $3.72. Long operates an online travel service provider in the People's Republic of China. Okay, so we see all that. See if there's any headlines out here. China's online travel takes off. Easy Long's upgraded at long. Maybe they caught a bunch of shorts out here sleeping. Could be kind of a light volume stock, so probably explains a lot. But was interesting. K1 is another big mover out here. Let's take a good look at this one. No volume on it. Let's take a look at MIL. MIL. Miller Energy Resources, this is up 17% today, and we'll find out what this company does in the profile. Nice pop back up in here. Of course, you wanted 1.3 million shares from the March 24th high out here. You already got 2.2 million shares in this thing. They are an independent exploration and production company engaging in the exploration, development, and operation of oil and gas wells in the Appalachian region of the Tennessee. So that's interesting. But that basically opens up about $7.50 on this, up to a tweezer top that ran probably $7.40, something like that. Yeah, $7.43 was the high that day, back on February 21st. And maybe opening up the next big move, which was January 28th at $8.11. So keep an eye on MILL. Wong? Okay. FOLD. That one's got a nice stock bill. X1. I wanted to look at that one real quick. Of course, this one had a upgrade, kind of pushing the shorts out here. But more interesting to me is this is when the huge gap with huge volume came, or at least big volume came down. 1.6 million shares on, March 20th. And you're into it with 1 million shares today. And that is the last big gap in this thing. Energy was not all that exciting on the way back up, but setting up kind of another opportunity maybe to short this thing. Of course, we got it a few times in the newsletter. Been waiting for this thing to come back up and maybe give us one more chance. And very interesting out here that this thing got up to, $42.57 today, and it's back down at $40. So I'm going to watch this one closely. Probably going to have one more move or attempted move back up into this gap. Anyway, we're going to see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. And remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.